Hello, Wade Cox here, and welcome to the Ski with Wade podcast. I've been involved with this sport of water skiing for over 40 years now. I was fortunate enough to be a professional, and now I'm a full-time water ski coach. Today's guest and I will be talking about water skiing. We'll also be talking a little bit about travel and maybe a little about life as well. Thanks for joining us today. Ski with Wade, cut more rope. Hey guys, welcome to Ski with Wade podcast. My guest today, Brandon Bucher, is going to step into Wade's world today. We're going to have some fun.
Yes, we are.
Hey, so before we go any further, hey, go to my website for this will be on there once it airs. I've got merch. You can check that out. And you can check out Ski with Wade tour dates as well. So anyway, yeah, we've had a good week already, haven't we? We've been skiing all week with the kids.
Very cool, man. Having you come up is a pretty neat experience.
So the Bucher family, I threw out some stuff on social media, and there were so many people. Oh, my God, I learned to ski there. That was the first time I ran a slalom course was right here.
Wow, yeah. I guess when you live somewhere and you're part of it, sometimes you don't see that stuff. That's very cool.
Well, no, I think because the Bucher family, your dad, Don, it's on my notes here. What year was the lake built?
70. It was late 70s. I think it was a process, couple years from like 76 to 78, maybe finished 79. It's I think you're always working on it a little bit.
Yeah, well, there's always some maintenance involved, right?
Yeah.
So the water ski hit. We're in Northwest Indiana on the Bucher family farm, which just happens to have a ski lake on it. Your mom told me the story this morning.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, they were going to build it Camelot.
Camelot, that's right. Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so if you did see the little social media feed, you turn off the main highway here onto LaPointe Drive.
Yes, that's Camelot. That's the Michelin girls are up there now, which is it's about 2 miles north of our place here. So another really cool lake.
It is a really, really neat deal. I was through here. I think it was about 2002, 2003, because the very last year of the Coors Light Pro Tour or Mastercard Pro Tour.
That was probably Rogaine, wasn't it? Yeah.
Well, it was. Rogaine was about the last sort of title sponsor that we had. And, hey, man, I still got hair, so maybe it worked, right?
Buddy.
So, the Pro Tour ended, and then that's when I really started full-time Ski with Wade tour. I'd done clinics, sort of hit or miss, but, yeah, that sort of evolved, and I stopped through here both lakes, Cindonway and Camelot.
Yeah, very cool.
So let's talk about, do you remember when your dad's first tournament was?
First tournament, I don't know exactly. It was definitely in the 60s. I know they skied with...
So bear with me here. We've got some water ski history, man. This belongs in the USA Water Ski Hall of Fame. Here's Hobart Bass Lake Open, 1964. 1963 Red Rock. Where is this?
Oh, Mishawaka. That's up on the river. Yeah. Very cool spot.
Back when there
the
was
Sharkies.
river and public water skiing was where it's at.
Public water skiing.
So here we go. Webster Lake Ski Bee state champions.
Yeah, so that's back Dewart Lake, which is a public water just to the east of us here, dried up in the mid to late 60s. We had a drought, and lake dried up. So Dad went over and skied with Bart Culver, so the famous Bart's Water Sports.
Right, which is just literally right around the corner.
It's literally miles from here. So Bart and Dad and the whole group, Jerry Hickman was another name, but really it started on Dewart before that. That was the cool part. So him and his buddies, they had ski jump course, you name it, out in public water. They were, the jump. I think there's anchors all around that lake, so very cool.
So the funny thing is when your dad brought that out, I was like, oh my gosh, I was having flashbacks, and even saw Jeff Clark from down in Florida.
Jeff Clark.
You remember Jeff? He posted a picture recently on social media, and he wearing the same jacket, with the short shorts.
Yep.
And he had the sideburns rocking. It was cool. It was like cooler than cool, right? Yeah. So that was sort of the Fonzie and the Elvis days of water skiing, right?
Correct. Yeah. It was a neat world back then. It had to be because, these clubs. I mean, it was just huge. It was just like college water skiing's turned into.
So Brandon skied a bit in college. Was a national water ski slalom champion, and you said back in like 2004.
Yep.
And sort of got the monkey off your back after you said being top seed a few times and getting a few seconds. Yeah, it's always good.
It's tough, man.
It's sort of a neat deal. I've got some stuff listed later here because there's a little blonde dude sitting over there that is going to have this opportunity. So when you're national champion, like the Mr. Girls have both already been gold medal.
Yes,
right?
Very neat.
So you're not local, no offense, little league or city or county, district, regional, state. You're a national champion, and it's kind of a neat deal. I mean, you've beat every kid from Florida, California, whatever, had the chance, and so we got a little one over there that we're going to see what he can do in August, right?
Yeah, it's so neat. I mean, that's a whole nother story is watching these kids come in and what you're doing with them. I mean, it's really cool. I mean, it's a lot of fun when we had the opportunity to do what we did. But
well, let's go. We're gonna get to the kids. So what year was your first tournament? How old were you, and what year?
I would say it was in the early '80s. I was 5, so
5.
So we'd say probably
I love that.
Yeah. So that. And then when I popped up, Mom, my first experience on one ski, I said, I want to go on one, and Dad was working, and so Mom took me for a ride, and I popped right up. So I was hooked, and I think my kids are following the same footstep. So yeah, I was probably 5.
And first nationals?
Nationals, I'm guessing was probably 8. 8. I'm just totally out there.
Do you remember where?
I know we went to California. I think actually it might have been Bennett's. Might be Jay's.
Okay. That would have been 89 was
89.
Bennett's.
Okay. So no, that would have been 12 then. Maybe. So, to be honest with you, I should have dug a little deeper.
Well, man, when you're 8, you're not, sorry. And we won't talk about how old you are, but who was your crew? Because sort of my next question here was when did you know that you were really good? Because your dad was talking about you running deep 38 and running 38 when you're 15, 16 years old. And back then we were thrown to the wolves. If you didn't have a good birthday, meaning, whatever on the calendar, then you were 12 years old after the Nationals skiing 36 miles an hour.
Yes.
Think about that, Jake. 36 at 12 and a half, 13 years old. When did you sort of know, wow,
So the end of junior boys, we were 34 mile an hour. So that was one of the times I was top seed. That's a lot of pressure on the dock. There's great skiers all around the world. And
you
the
feel
country.
it like it's a big deal, man. You get the sweaty palms.
Oh, yeah.
Like, wow, yeah. And right then, there wasn't a rankings list.
No, we didn't know.
And we were like on the early end of internet. I mean, I had no internet. So you would hear through the grapevine, there's this kid from California, or there's this kid from Texas, and then you're standing on the dock next to him at the Nationals.
Yeah.
Is that him?
Yeah, right? That's exactly how it played out. And if you don't get nervous at a competition, I don't think you're alive. So that was really cool. Whether you were at the bottom or the top, it still was so cool, man. But yeah, it was probably junior boys. And then from there, that first year to convert, I think it was into, I was getting into 38 at 36, maybe, just barely running 35. So that was probably the first year, but really didn't, back then you didn't know. I think I might've skied the first tour stop. Indy was a great place.
That was my next question. Yeah. Your dad brought you to Indy, and how old were you?
I can't totally remember, but I would say 15 maybe.
Yeah, he recollected the same.
Yeah.
So 15 years old, skiing against All the boys.
Yeah,
were there.
it was
Shaylander.
Yeah, you had LaPointe. You know, you were there. I mean, the whole crew was there. It was, you know, I mean, it was. I had been to the river prior to that to watch a tour stop, you know, when I was younger, and so, you know, seeing Carl
down in
Bears
Indianapolis on the White River.
On the White River, that's when he balked and was thrown up into the safety net. That was that year.
So if I remember the story correctly, which is it's part of water ski history. Anybody that was there or saw it later on ESPN was like, "Oh my gosh!" So he blew his forearms out slalom skiing.
That's right.
And this is sort of pre-clinchers, and I don't know why in the world anyone would want to jump, period, much less jump with clinchers. Okay. But anyway, he's right at the base of the ramp, or just moments before, and his forearms popped. So he lost the handle, and that's where he came off at that weird trajectory, and I think he bounced in like maybe 6 inches of water. Yeah. But the next landing was up on the beach at the White River.
Yeah. And I was probably Jake's age. I was pretty young then. So to see that was something you remember. I mean, that was a moment in time.
Well, I had Sammy on, and so Sammy Duvall. So I first of all, I'm going to make fun of you. I don't know if Joe Rogan has this, and he's like the most famous like podcast in the world.
Right.
But so you listen to my podcast in the shower?
Well, yeah, you know, with these Bluetooth things. So my wife.
Oh yeah, Michelle's over there giggling. Yeah, she threw you under the bus big time.
Yeah.
She goes, yeah. Hey, would you please say this?
Yeah.
Said, all right. Yeah. I mean, we all do different stuff. We won't go there, but yeah. So yeah, eat your heart out, Joe Rogan. Yeah.
Good one. Thanks, Wade.
So no, you as well as a whole bunch of people said thank you so much for having Sammy on.
Yeah, that was cool.
It was a huge honor for me because, I mean, Sammy, Carl, they are our water ski history, right?
Right. You were part of that. Actually, I wanted to get down and show you, but in my mom and dad's house, we have a workout room in the basement, and one of your pictures of I think it was a CDX, but one of your centerfolds, you know, it's an honor to have you here because obviously we were all striving to, you know, we were watching your heroes and obviously you're on the wall. So,
well, I appreciate
very
that.
cool.
Yeah.
But we did have it's an amazing, the kids now are absolutely amazing. The skiers now, it's so much fun to watch, but we had a lot of character back in, and Sammy being one. I worked at Jack Travers. You know, that was one of the things that you and I both have in common. And Jack and Leilani, they were special people. But Sammy would show up there too, and that was an honor.
Well, and he was and for the young kids that don't understand, he was this iconic figure, and he was just kind of like when Tiger Woods was on his roll, Sammy had this energy, and it didn't matter if you loved him or you hated him because he was beating your guy or he was your guy.
Right.
But he brought energy like nobody else ever had. You know?
It brought the competition up. Yeah. You know, I always say when you're playing with someone better, you know, you're going to get better or you're going to quit.
No, it was just, I'm getting amazing. Like the goosebumps going right now thinking about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool it was just to be there on the beach and watch.
Yeah, it was. Very cool.
Hey, so the point name being on the sign down the road, your dad was talking about there was a pro tour here way back in the day in the late 70s.
Yes, late 70s. Before Dad built Cindonway, they went down to Hidden Lake, which is home of the Lake City show ski team now.
Probably on that jacket, the patch.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So that he went down there from, you know, they were skiing public waters, and then obviously it was kind of evolving into trying to get somewhere that they could ski and not have other boats running. And so they went down there, and so the LaPointes, Ricky McCormick, Grimdage,
maybe the Kemptons.
Probably, yeah. So they would all come up, and so we got photo albums, and I got to look at those when I was a kid. I mean, it was really cool. My brother was a baby, probably. Yeah, he was definitely a baby then.
So Shane's your younger brother?
He's my older brother.
Older brother.
Yep. So that was cool. So we
and his kids are out as well. So we had 6 Bucher kids alone at the camp the other day, 2 days in a row.
Isn't that cool? Yeah. So he's got 3 boys, and they're they're doing awesome.
Well, the neatest thing when I went to the Nationals in actually at Bennett's place in 2020.
Correct.
I was down scanning the start list, trying to figure out where all my kids were, which lake they'd be skiing. And I keep seeing Bucher, Bucher, and I'm like, all right, is somebody? So yeah, and then it wasn't 20 minutes later, he walks up, he goes, hey man, I'm Brandon's brother.
Yeah,
so.
Very cool, man. I missed that one, but yeah, that was fun for him. That was first nationals for a couple of them.
Well, so we sort of hit on your collegiate days, and so you're the same age as Freddie.
I'm a little younger than Freddie and Sully. So I was in Chris Rossi. Rossi and I we came up the same time. So Sully we skied an all-star together. So he was going out when I was just coming in. Scott Smith, name back in the day. He was
Santa.
Yep, Santa, yep. So he's the one that convinced me to go down to USL, Coach Davis. I mean, that was just an amazing time. I got to spend down there. Charles Mueller, he was a guy that came along.
Charlie was a rocking skier.
Yep. We all had a good time, man. That was a fun time.
Hey, so you mentioned your old memorabilia. Did you ski on a CDX?
Yes, I skied. HO was definitely a big part of my life. When I was there at Jack's, kind of through the junior team, when I was on the junior team, that was HO that was the ticket, man. Yeah, well, so it's we talked about you in a sort of opening. You get sort of busy in life, and you don't really realize, how much we talk about that your family has affected, the whole Midwest of water skiing. Well, that's sort of neat for me when all these young pros were riding my ski. If you don't know what it is, the CDX, it was my, we had it in line for probably 5 years, my pro model. So it was, just this almost standing the dog going, oh my God, that is actually my name on that dude's ski. It was just such a crazy honor. Yeah. That would be an honor. Yeah, for sure. And man, we had a good time, good skiing. Yeah, no, it was sort of a special time because that group, there was so many good guys. And so you're sort of the same right behind Marcus. Terry Winter. Terry came to the lake. That was a fun time when we were between Indianapolis and Detroit. So sometimes we'd stop here when, I'd come home and stay here. When I left USL, I went down to Orlando and got to ski with you guys down there. And so it was always a good time. It was kind of like the Portland, Vancouver stop where we'd stay between. So we had a good time. But Terry stopped here 1 year, and that was a blast. So let's talk about that. Good times. I'm thinking this would have been maybe 97 or so, where you and Snags, Simon Hill, g'day Simon, you guys borrowed my truck and went up to Trophy Lakes for the weekend. Okay, yeah. Remember that? It was a Z71. Okay, I do. Yes, that's right, man. Good times. Yeah, you couldn't beat Trophy Lakes. We were trying to go for the world ranking scores, and man, that was the place back in the day. Yeah, because I'd sort of pulled out. I was going to go, and then Simon's like, oh, mate, come on, Coxie. And I was like, nah, man, why don't you guys take my truck? And so it's funny. Simon was always into music, same as me. So he comes back, and I guess you guys have pulled out all of my HO CD, the way we carry them around in our backpack. So they're all in the console of my truck. So he's like, hey, mate, you get some good music in there. Yeah thanks. Yeah, that's funny. Oh, man, good times. Well, hey, good times, but they changed. Yes. So let's talk about that transition. Sort of the next, we got youngins sitting over there that we're going to talk about, but farm life. When sort of you're like, okay, like a lot of guys, you got to make that, hey, I'm not making any money pro skiing to go do something, and you basically took over the farm. Is that right? Yeah, that's that was a wild transition. So when I left Orlando, I came back, and the times were just, the good Lord blessed us. I mean, the times were right, and the industry was changing, and Dad was, he was up for it. And so that would have been, I'm going to say, started in probably 05, 04, 05 kind of type range. That
almost 20 years
basically
now.
the catalyst was when I met my wife.
Yeah, she's next on the list.
And that's when, you know, you're kind of like, you do that soul searching. Okay, you know, I can keep doing clinics. I can keep, you know, doing the coaching thing and that type of thing, which was, you know, for me, I was doing a few a year. You know, I was doing quite a few, but it was just kind of one of those things that, you know, I met her and things started rolling and the opportunity opened, and here we are today.
Well, so we're talking about Michelle, and she's quite the skier as well. Skis at nationals.
Yeah.
And goes Sparty. She was on the Michigan State water ski team. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of Sparty alumni that I've skied with over the years. So, yeah, that collegiate deal. I mean, I think we counted up the other day when I was down in Cincinnati that 8 of the 24 teams were from the Midwest at nationals last year.
Isn't that incredible?
I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
I mean, from Purdue, Michigan State, Michigan, Cincinnati, Ohio State. We just talked about who is it else? I mean, it was just a really neat deal for water skiing up here.
It really, I mean, far as I can remember back, obviously there was teams before it, but when Jeff Surday, the Surdays really came in, they were a little before Michelle, not much, but that was kind of the time where they were camping. You know, they made this a team sport. It was just a really neat environment. It was kind of the same time I was down at college.
Yeah, you know what? I watched Will Asher win the collegiate nationals that one year. I think he ran 3 at 41.
Yeah,
still holds the record. And the same, I got goosebumps going, wow, that's such a different vibe. And then I saw collegiate nationals in California a few years ago. I saw the men's jump event.
Right.
And I'm like, hey, that's
this
legit.
Is real.
This is a whole bunch of dudes cutting late, going far.
Yeah.
And whatever, 24 teams with their tents out in the water screaming and yelling. I mean,
absolutely
it's
insane. Yeah. And I have to throw another one, you know, Cale Burdick coming from the Midwest, you know, I'm pretty sure he won collegiate nationals too. And, you know, that coming out of Purdue, you know, the cold skiing up here, you know, but yes, the environment is absolutely, I mean, it'll take you in every time.
Well, yeah, there's so much history up here. Even like in the modern, we got Jim Kilsdocker, who runs Waterskier Costa Rica, a Sparty. Dave Wingirter, who's my boss at Syndicate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dave Good, rest in peace. But I mean, look at the legacy he's left. You know, so the Midwest is a huge sort of impact on water skiing.
Well, you take Freddie. I mean, and you go way back. Exactly. I mean, Freddie's
the Midwest. Mafia, is that what it is? The jump crew out here, and
well, yeah, you had Brandon Meredith, the old Bam Bam. Yeah. You had a pretty neat group. I mean, I was back in the Midwest.
Will Roberts and these guys, the Lutz brothers. I mean, they're jumping really big numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's. I think, you know, our seasons are shorter, so they're, you know, these kids are really doing a good job.
Well, hey, speaking of seasons, let's go back. So, what's the size? How many acres you guys farming here?
Oh, some days too much, some days not enough.
All right, good answer. I like that. So as far as, because I grew up on sort of like a smaller farms.
Right.
My dad was almost a black sheep. He wasn't a cattle farmer.
Mm-hmm.
But what crops do you guys have?
We're corn and soybeans. Our specialty is the seed corn. We grow corn for production for next year. So. That's where we specialize in. And
I heard you talk about blueberries and some other like really micro seasonal stuff.
Yep, that's my sister and my mother. They have a really neat place there. It's a kind of a destination, but they have you-pick blueberry, blackberries. So that's
very
neat.
cool.
Yeah.
No, I used to do the same with my kids. We'd actually go down to the strawberry farm.
Yep.
And my little boy would just eat so much.
Turn red,
Well, thank you, Anne-Marie and Davis, for my little Florida State Yeti. It's actually on the floor here.
Very cool.
I appreciate that. No, those are great memories when you see the kids having fun. Huh?
Yeah, that's all about the kids.
So hey, let's talk one more thing, farming. So I'm staying just across the farm in your motorhome. Thank you so much. I've had just an awesome week. And I see yesterday 2 things. First of all, here comes your dad, 75-year-old Don, on a trick ski.
Yes.
And I'm like loving it. Hear the boat. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a ski boat running.
Yep.
Oh, somebody's out there. So I peek out. Sure enough, it's Don out there trick skiing. And then out the other side is I see your irrigation, and it's automated. So how much has farming changed since you were a kid?
It's mirrored to water skiing, really. I mean, our tractors drive themselves. Everything's GPS, satellite imagery. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. And we're at the tip of the iceberg. I'm sure by the time, in a few years here, we won't have people in tractors. I mean, it's here. So, and, we're probably going to have boats driving, steering here. We've had speed control for years. Yeah. So really we've mirrored the water skiing. It's been fun to be a part of that.
Yeah, no, it is. I was just sort of sitting there going, wow, I remember when, and it was so much different. Yeah. Because I even heard what also triggered me to ask was I heard a farmer talking about he sets on his cell phone so it'll wake him up if he falls asleep before he gets to the end.
Yeah, we have alarms, yes. And in the last few years, the weather, we're trying to do so much in such a short window that we're working a lot of hours, and there's been some nights where we've had too much moisture in planting season. So we're out there in the middle of the night, and I've had to be woken up a few times.
I felt like I was hearing sort of me telling stories of driving tricks at Jack's. Yeah. In the afternoon, like day 4, day 5, man, mid-afternoon, and you just sitting there going, I'm not going to make one more skier.
Right.
Your eyes are following. Yeah.
That brings me back to Regina when Regina and Renee used to come down and to
We're
Jack's.
talking about Regina Jacobs, obviously the baddest women's slalom skier in the world.
Amazing. She's she was just a little tyke when I was down there, and man, Jack and I would go over and we'd ski on the other lake and pull her. Man, she could trick for hours. That was amazing.
Well, hey, so let's talk about kids since we're having fun and laughing about them. We got a little one right there that I worked with 2 summers ago. We're talking about Jacob and. Was it right 2 summers ago?
Yeah, 2 summer ago. Yeah, it was 2 summers. We that was really cool because we rekindled. We hadn't seen each other for years, and we showed up at the Meeker family place in Liquid Edge Air. And Jake was so timid and so shy, and it was just really cool to see open that up. And then
and he was really frustrated, and I've seen both young and old go, hey, geez, just get to such a roadblock. Mm-hmm. And so it was really cool because Michelle came up to me actually at that Nationals at Bennett's at the end of that summer and says, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Yeah, to see Jacob out there ripping it up, smiling. So really it was 2 words. It was like, Jacob, you got to get light so you can be fast.
Yep.
And that's what it was.
Spot on.
He was dropping center mass north-south and raising his attachment point from if you're in a windsurfing harness and you're doing long distance windsurfing, you're hooked up down at the waist.
Right.
And that's ultimately where old school, they would tell you, shoulders back, hips forward. And we're like, well, that is correct, but we have to move there first.
Right.
And while we're moving into that position, if we the skier, the user of the equipment, get heavy and we raise our attachment point, now we're doubling down on a negative.
Yep. The loads get real hard.
Yep.
And
that's really where skiing has changed a lot since
Yeah.
Old school. I mean, look at those little bitty Mastercrafts that we grew up skiing on compared to what they are now.
Right. It's totally changed. You bet. Yeah. It's neat to see, you know, when you see a skier get light. I mean, it's so much fun. You know they're on.
Well, the cool thing, because you've done it, and everyone says to me, once you sort of do a little manipulation on the whatever the gait and the stance, and we'll call it timing and tempo.
Yep.
And then everyone's like verbatim going, wow, it's less work.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah. And isn't it just more fun?
Yeah.
And they're like, yes, you're exactly right. Yeah.
It slows down. That's the cool part. You know, when I was in my peak,
speed up, but you slow down.
You speed up. Your speed speeds up, but your visuals and what's your environment slows down. And that in the sport, when you really click on that and it seems like it's slow motion, that's
No, it really is. That's when you're in the sweet spot. Whether you're, a golf club, a tennis racket, all of a sudden you just relax and let it do its job. Like my grandpa would always say, use your tool properly.
Correct.
And so if you use the modern tools, they're like, wow, that is so much better. It's like talking about farming. Well, why would you go back and get that old tractor when you get this new one? You know?
Yeah, big time.
So that's fun because that's super cool. So that's my next thing on my notes was back to that. I've already gone through this multiple times where this will be Jacob's third year in Boys One, skiing nationals.
Yep.
And he's moved up.
Doing real well.
Now these rankings lists that we have, So it's actually a neat deal for the entire family. For me as sort of the outsider that's just been helping him a bit. Yeah, I can't wait to see you guys in Kansas, right?
Kansas will be there, and that's we got Jake for the third year. Joy's come along, and then
so that was my next discussion is. I watched Joy go from last summer, late summer, like pre-regionals or right there around regionals, nationals, struggling at 26 miles an hour. And yesterday, 2 days ago, I saw her just absolutely rip 30 miles an hour a few times. And she's this close to running 32, which is her top speed. We don't live in the archaic days, making her go 34 already.
Right.
But no, it's really cool. She's basically up 3 passes just since in the last summer.
Right. It's so neat watching kids. I tell you, that I used to get a great kick out of that, watching the kids, back when I was doing what you're doing. So the progression is
that was it. I
fun.
could see it on her face because she's a righty like me.
Yep.
And it was at maybe her 28 pass or so. She really got her tempos set, and she sort of delayed her reach, and she was able to sort of just as soon as the handle got up, she moved forward right through the turn, and there was no load on the rope, and she got all this angle. Then she was super fast in the 3, and she's smiling.
Yeah,
she's
right
like,
there,
wow,
right
that
there.
was me.
Yeah.
I just did that, and then we got to the end, and she's still smiling. I was like, Joy, wasn't that just fun? Yeah, that was fun. That's the cool part. Is when, it's like whether you're riding a motocross bike or you jump on a Sea-Doo and you peg it, you go, oh, that was cool. I sort of needed that speed.
Yeah. Right? Oh, for sure. And that's so cool. You're talking about the fun and the smiles. You coming up, we love it. When I was able to ski with somebody like yourself growing up, it always made you better. I mean, it just was a real cool environment, and keep up the good work.
Well, I appreciate it. So I got a little Ski with Wade koozie, and here's stickers. My man Jacob wanted a sticker. He's already got his T-shirt on. So a couple more things up before I close. Are you going to dig another lake on the property?
There's always a dream, so we'll see.
Maybe
we'll see what provides. It'd be neat to have a 2-lake place, but because
you hosted the regionals here before, the 90-91 regionals.
Yeah, so up at Camelot, we split the regionals between the 2 lakes, and that was a lot of fun. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see what life brings us, and we know we'll be skiing somewhere.
Yeah, good deal, because Cindonway. Your dad even said, yeah, Brandon wants to make this lake a little longer because it was sort of dug, however, it's a little short, whatever, 1,600 square foot. So
yeah, my aunt's house was there before, and then we had the county road on the other side. So we were limited from the start. The way the contour of the ground was, that's the perfect spot for it. So my Aunt Cindy, she was a big part of our ski career. My grandparents, my mom, everybody. I mean, it's a family environment.
Oh, and the lake is, if you ever get the chance, it's such a great family. I know Don, your brother, anybody probably love to drive.
Yeah.
But the lake is just unreal. It's sort of like a natural pond just because it's been there so long. Big, huge trees around it. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We've been blessed. You know, I mean, that's the thing. Shane and his boys, I mean, they spend a lot of time there. My wife spends darn near all day, every day she can, pulling the kids. She's like a ski school down there. So we have a good time. Yeah, it's paradise. And the neat thing is the countryside, you know, back when Dad built that, there wasn't very many of them. And now to see all the lakes just in Indiana, you know, throughout the country is absolutely amazing. And, you know, I kind of feel like Dad's the grandfather a little bit of the ones
he
close
is.
by.
He's like the Godfather of the Midwest. Yeah.
For private ski lakes.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool because we've had a lot of good times, good memories.
3 generations skiing right here.
Yeah, Dad's still going,
Yeah.
man. That just makes you want to do
And
it.
I saw your mom out driving him around. They were just doing a little lake maintenance, like right at sunset. And I'm like, man, that is like on Golden Pond. You know, this is like a Hallmark sort of video. They're just chatting away in the boat. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, we're really blessed.
Well, hey, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you guys for listening again. I've got a YouTube channel now. Please subscribe. If you like the videos, please like. Go to my website. You can check out the merch. We got stickers, right? So any of my old podcasts, any of my Ski with Wade tour dates, if you want to find me, leave me a message. So thanks, Brandon.
Hey, thank you.
We're getting ready to go water skiing. Hey, Ski with Wade, cut more rope. That's a wrap this week for Ski with Wade podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to email me at wade@skiwithwade.com or direct message me on Instagram or Facebook with any questions you may have. We'll cut more rope next week. Ski with Wade.